Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Curtis Brandon, Program Specialist for the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. Thank you for attending today's webinar, What Keeps You Up at Night. Quick reminder before we start today's webinar. You will get a copy of this presentation and recording within 48 to 72 hours, and the recording will be uploaded to our YouTube channel once released by our communication team. The presentation will be sent to your email with the email that you registered with for today's session. Please locate the Q&A box. If you go to the bottom of your right-hand corner of the computer, you can click on the Q&A box and locate the Q&A where you will be able to put all your questions. If you are attending on your phone, please look up into the left-hand corner, click on the three dots, and then you should be able to locate the Q&A function there as well. Put all questions that you have pertaining to this webinar in the Q&A, please. And any kudos or networking that you may have, we'd like to use the chat function for that. So please use the chat function for kudos and networking, and the Q&A for any questions and answers that any questions that you may have during this webinar. The participation of any commercial entities in VA outreach and training programs does not convey or imply that the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs directly or indirectly endorses any product or service provided or to be provided by the commercial entity, its successors, assignees, or licensees. Furthermore, the Department of Veteran Affairs does not warrant any services that may be provided by the commercial organization listed. I would like to welcome Ms. Marcelle Falk and thank you for attending it and bringing us to all this great information.
Thank you for having me today and welcome everyone. I'm just gonna go up. Thank you. Hello, and thank you all for having me today. I know you all own your own businesses and you're really busy, and it's not easy to take time away from running your businesses and stepping away from the office or your homes or your loved ones. So I want to thank you all for your time today. Thank you all for your service to our country. I'm also a business owner as well, and I can totally relate to how hard it can be at times, and sometimes your business does keep you up at night. And so this topic is really near and dear to me. And I'm really excited to share some of this information that I have with you all. I do have my contact information in the front page here for anybody that does want to connect offline after the presentation. There's going to be a lot of things that you're likely going to want me to go over in this group session, and it's going to be pretty high level, and that's because a lot of the advice that I can give, unless it would apply to the entire group, I'm not allowed to give it in a group session. So I'm happy to talk with anyone offline about their particular business or personal situation in the event that you want to have a kind of a deeper conversation. So I want everyone to kind of look at the slide that is in front of us. It's late at night. We tend to keep working and we ask ourselves a lot of questions. And most business owners, I know I also have ADHD, our brains don't turn off at night. And there's a lot of things that go on that we think about that we don't realize that that is what's keeping us up at night. So like whenever we're growing our businesses, we're making sure, we're making more sales, being profitable, making sure our employees are paid. But there's also these questions that keep us up, such as, can I retire in 10 years? Can this business fund my retirement? What if my business partner dies? Do I want to do business with his or her son? And now that I personally guaranteed a loan for this business, I could potentially lose everything if something goes wrong. And if I get hurt and can't work for an extended period of time, what would essentially happen to my business or to my family? And let's talk about some of the other things that could potentially keep us up in the middle of the night. Sometimes we want to expand our businesses and it can really make sense, but then we wonder like, okay, can I get the credit that I need? This business is a huge part of my life and my family's life too. And how do I make sure that my family gets to enjoy the benefits of all of my hard work? Why are there so many questions and where are the answers? I think we can all relate to the super early mornings where, we know we can't keep doing it all ourselves. We wear many hats as business owners. How do I attract the right talent to help me grow my business? And then the biggest competitors provide great benefits. Do you need to offer more benefits? And a lot of times we miss those events with our loved ones. I can't believe I missed another school event working late. The kids are disappointed, and so am I. So as you kind of think about the things that you worry about, I want you to ask yourself, what else keeps you awake at night? And if you're worrying about your business, you're not alone. And as someone who runs a business on my own, I totally understand the financial challenges that we face and how we can and how it really does wear on you. In fact, I just had a conversation with someone recently about how we can't always share the highs with our loved ones because then they'll spend all the money and then we can't really share all the lows either because then they're going to worry. So there are different scenarios that, we keep so much bottled in as business owners because we're the glue that keeps everything together. And we are the ones that have to keep our calm when things are a little chaotic. So I want you to really just jot down some of the things that you worry about at night that keeps you up. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide, but I just want to let you know that this topic has really made me passionate about helping other business owners plan for both their company and their personal financial security, so that essentially you can sleep better at night. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to talk about some planning strategies that can help you in your business. And we're going to identify and prioritize your goals and your concerns. We're going to talk about the 4 critical asset classes of your business to consider, key financial areas of your business to protect, stages of business development, and some key things to think about in each of them. And then why it's a good idea to have business advisors. And I'm going to keep this at pretty high level, but if you want to talk more in depth about anything, we can set up a time to follow up another day. All right, so I'd like to start out by kind of talking about your goals because essentially you need to know what you want for yourself and your business because that impacts all of the planning that you do. So the next slide is going to list some objectives and priorities, and I want you to take some time to basically go ahead and rate each objective on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being very important, even if you already have it taken care of, and 1 being not important at all. Now, I know that these exercises are not always fun, but a lot of people are surprised as to how helpful that they are because you're kind of in this moment right here and you're being a little bit forced to do this because if you do it on your own, you probably will never get to it. So that now is a perfect time to start on these. All right, so I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes. And I want everyone to go over like, okay, there's 4 categories. You have the things for your business. So cover my liability for any business loans or leases that I personally guaranteed. Ensure business expenses will be paid if I become disabled. Protect the business in the event that a key employee passes away or becomes disabled. That could be your manager or operating logistics officer, anyone who you hire to basically help run your business. And then determine the current value of your business. Surprisingly, 98% of business owners have no idea how much their business is worth. And then you have the category for you as the business owners, provide for survivor income, disability income, and or provide long-term care needs for your family, develop a lifetime exit plan, develop a buy-sell arrangement in the event of death or disability. Essentially, who would buy your business, or whose business would you, or who would you sell it to? And then develop a plan to preserve any assets for the next generations, and then evaluate your investment portfolio. And then for your key employees, it would be things like recruiting and retaining and rewarding your key employees, providing for survivor income, disability income, or long-term care needs for those key employees, provide a non-qualified executive plan, business benefit plans for your key employees. Because essentially, if you want to keep your employees, having some kind of benefit can help. And then for your employees, it would be providing a competitive and cost-effective employee group benefits program, providing a qualified retirement program, or offer any personal planning services to employees. So we have about 1 minute and 16 seconds left.
Hey, Marcel, a couple of answers coming in the chat if you can see the chat.
Let me see. Oh, I do see it. Oop. Oh, yes, I can project. I just saw that. Let me see the presenters. Having a hard time pulling in business. Yes. Jennifer, I'm happy to chat offline. I actually there's a TV show for entrepreneurs called The Blocks. I competed on twice, and now I'm actually part of film directing for them. And they do go a lot about like the customer journey and product market fit, and that's a whole loaded topic I'm happy to chat about offline. But anybody that's looking to increase sales or just needs a little bit of help with business in general, I've got some connections I've got people I can connect you with, or I'm happy to have a call. All right. So next slide. So as business owners, we often think about our balance sheet, which are like our assets and our liabilities. And there are 4 basic types of assets in any business, and it's important to protect all of them. So your physical assets are things like your buildings, your machinery, cars and trucks. And then for employees, we have our human capital, and this is one that's easy for most of us to overlook as an asset, but our employees are extremely important for our business. And whether it's the employees that we already have, or maybe we're looking to expand by bringing in the best and the brightest people, people are a big deal and they should be considered an asset. But then you also have your business itself, and that's kind of like the softer side of things, like the goodwill, the reputation, but also the client relationships that you've earned as a business. But then there's you, the business owner. You're the key person who holds it all together. And there's also 4 key financial areas to your business to think about. So the first 2 are like risk management, and then you have your employee benefits. And they fall under like a broader category of business planning. And then risk management is basically the steps that you take to protect your business from unforeseen events. And then employee benefits are basically the various plans and incentives that they basically help you to recruit and keep your employees, and help your business grow and stay competitive. And then it reduces the turnover rate, because to keep your employees costs a lot less than it does to try to replace them when they've already left you. And then you've got your third area, which is exit planning. And at some point in the future, you're no longer going to be able to run your business. Every single business owner at some point exits their business, whether they plan for it or they don't. So whether you're retiring, maybe you're transferring ownership to your kids, selling the business so you can focus on other opportunities, or anything else, you do need a strategy that you can convert your business into an asset so you can move on to other things. And then there's also the personal financial planning. So you might not think of this as part of your business, but as a business owner, your personal planning is important too. And the challenge with planning for all of these areas is that they're all interdependent. So how you manage and plan for your business directly impacts how you plan for your personal financial situation. And then how you plan employee benefits affects your exit plan, and so on. So when I'm working with business owners, I always recommend an integrated approach to planning. And it's the only way to make sure that everything is working together to build the strongest financial situation for yourself and your business. So that's also why a customized plan is also important too. So no one in this room has exactly the same financial situation or business needs as anyone else. Your business is unique and your personal finances are unique. And together they create a financial situation that requires a unique plan. So let's start with risk management. That's going to be part of your business planning. So risk management means protecting your business from the loss of physical, intellectual, and human assets. Then you have your physical assets could include like businesses, the buildings, the office space, equipment, and machinery. Intellectual assets are things like patents, copyrights, trademarks, or formulas. And then employees are your assets too, especially those who are key to your business. So you need to protect your business against losing them due to either illness or injury. So to determine how well your business is covered on the risk management front, you need to ask yourselves these questions. Do you have liability coverage? When was the last time you reviewed it? When your business is growing, it's easy to forget that your coverage needs to grow with it. Are you protecting your intellectual property like patents and copyrights? And then what if you become disabled? How would you bring in income and pay your business expenses if you're not able to work anymore? And what if it was someone else? What if one of your key employees becomes disabled or passes away? Would you be able to replace them? And would your business be able to keep going without them? So these are very real risks that every business faces. And if you're feeling uncomfortable about any of your answers to those questions, you should start planning to address them soon. I know that sometimes these kind of conversations are very hard. They kind of sound morbid, but it's a responsible conversation to be had. So now let's look at other parts of business planning. And these are things like employee benefits. This includes all of those perks that you have for your employees and yourself too. So benefits like group health, life, and disability and income insurance, planning for long-term care, and retirement benefits such as 401ks, they're broken down into 2 basic categories. The first one is benefits that are offered to all of your full-time employees. And then there's also the benefits that are offered to only select key employees, which are sometimes referred to as like a carve out or executive benefits. So why is it so important to offer benefits to your employees? Well, there's a lot of reasons. So first, it's just the right thing to do. Your employees need things like health insurance and retirement plans to live comfortable lives. And as an employer, you have access to group plans that can help make their lives better, but at a lower cost than what it would be as if they were likely to get it on their own. Benefits help you stay competitive in your market. They attract employees to you and help you keep them once they're in the door. These days, a competitive benefits package is expected. And if you don't have one, it's harder to get the employees that you want and easier for them to be lured away too. And of course, anything you offer to your employees, you can take advantage of too as the business owner. So here are some key questions to think about to help you figure out if your employee benefit strategy is meeting your company's needs. First of all, what's the goal of your employee benefit strategy? What do you want it to do for your business? And do you know what your competitors are offering? And how do you compare with your competitors? If you were starting a new job and you were offered the same benefits package that you give your employees, how would you feel? Would you be happy about it? Would you think it's the bare minimum? Whatever you're feeling is a good indicator about what the prospective employee thinks too. And finally, have you asked your employees what they think about the benefits you offer? Do you know what other benefits they'd like to see? And the best way to know if you're giving them what they want and need is basically to ask them. And there may be things that are important to them that you haven't thought of. Now, let's talk a little bit about exit planning. I'm just curious if anyone here has thought about how they'll eventually leave their business. Many business owners think that they'll pass their business to a family member or a business partner or maybe even employee. How about selling? Curious how many people um, think that they'll want to sell their business one day? And if so, when? Would it be in 5 years, 10 years? Um, no matter how long you're thinking you're going to stay in your business, planning starts today. I have people that are planning their exits in 10 years and they're already coming up with a way to find who's going to buy their business and for how much. And the last strategy is just closing up shop completely. I've seen business owners close shop because they couldn't find someone to buy their business because they waited too long to plan for it. These are all common ways to leave a business. And if you're one of the people who think that your children will take over your business, you're in the majority. That is one of the most common ways to pass a family business on, but it's not always the simplest. Um, I don't know if you all know this. I'm going to tell you today. I am a grandmother. I started a business when my daughter was 12 years old. She's now married with a baby and does not want my business. So it was really tough to find someone that was going to buy it. And had I planned earlier, that conversation would have been a much more smoother transition. Many times our kids just don't always want it. If we have multiple children, the oldest tends to not want the business because they saw how hard it was to grow it. The youngest one tends to want the business, but maybe they don't always have the skills or the education to take over, but they also think that it's going to be an easy job, or an easy transition, and that's not always the case. Um, so some of the biggest conflicts in family businesses are around this issue, and there's so many reasons why there can be tension around it as well. Because at the end of the day, um, sometimes even the business owner isn't ready to pass the business on yet. Um, and or it could be that you're ready to let it go, but maybe your kids aren't ready or willing to take the business on. Um, and then if you have multiple kids and they all want the business, maybe they're not all going to agree on the major business decisions that have to be made. So there are reasons that few family businesses survive beyond the first generation. And so you do have to plan your transition well if you want to be the exception to that rule. So while passing the business to family, selling, and closing outright are all common ways to leave your business. They aren't the only ways. Nobody wants it to happen, but unfortunately, there's also pretty common to have, um, to have to leave your business either to passing away or becoming suddenly disabled before you actually get to retire. And I hope that no one here ends up in that situation. And I know it's not fun to think about, but it's very important to plan for. Um, and if you don't, you might not have much say into what happens to the business that you worked so hard to build. And what kind of planning do you need to do? These questions are just a few that you need to start addressing. So I want you to think about when you want to move on from your business, who do you want to take over? And then what is the real value of your business and how will you recoup that value when you leave? And then on the flip side of that, how is the new owner going to pay you for the value of the business when you move on? And then if you have a business partner, how will your business partner be able to afford to buy you out? So it's never too soon to start planning for this. If you wait too long, you're going to have fewer options for your exit strategy than you'd like. So as business owners, we often put the needs of our companies ahead of our personal needs. That's true with our time and our energy, and it's true when it comes to finances too. But your personal financial security is just as important as your businesses. So let's take a look at personal financial planning. So as we mentioned earlier, all the areas of business are interconnected, and that goes for your personal and business financial goals too. You put a lot of time and money into getting your business off the ground, and in turn, your business fuels your personal finances. So here are some things to consider when you're thinking about your personal financial security. If you become sick or disabled, what would happen to your business? What about your personal finances? Could you still make ends meet if there's something were to happen to you? Can you grow your business the way you want to and keep your family thriving at the same time? And how are you doing with retirement planning? Is your business funding your retirement plan while it's growing? So when you're thinking about all four areas of your business, that probably feels like a lot of planning, and it's all important to your personal and professional success. I tell people all the time, planning is done in phases. So I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed with this whole presentation thinking like, oh man, I have a lot to do. It's going to be in small bite-sized pieces. So it is all important for your personal and professional success. And it's difficult to balance them, which is why having a professional to work with you on the planning and creating your priorities, that can be a great help. So now let's take a look at the stages of business and how the planning that you focus on differs in each stage. So there are four stages of business development. You've got startup, growth, maturity, and transfer. And no matter what stage you're in, you're still going to be dealing with all four components. You've got risk management, employee benefits, business succession, and personal planning. But your needs for each of those areas changes as your business grows. So what you focus on will be a little different as time goes on. So of course, whenever you're at the startup phase, cash is king. Startup is often the most exciting phase of a business, but it's usually the leanest financially. And if your business is in the startup phase, you've got a lot going on just to get things off the ground and keep them moving. But don't overlook those four basic areas though. If you put off risk management at this stage, your business could be derailed by something unexpected before it actually gets off the ground. And then if you put off employee benefits planning, you might not attract the employees you want and need to move into the next stage. Doing that personal planning helps you stay ahead of things and puts you on the right track to achieve your goals when you want to. And while it might seem like jumping the gun to start planning for business succession when you're just getting started by building your business, but you still want to keep that in mind while you're building your business. You can still, I tell people all the time, you can still plan your exit at the startup phase. It's just a different kind of conversation at the startup phase, but it makes the path to succession easier in the long run. And then whenever you get past the startup phase and you move into growth, you're expanding, you're hiring, and you're probably feeling like there's never enough time to get it done. The growth phase can happen many times throughout a business's lifetime too. So during those times, it's important to review the plans you put in place and start expanding them to keep up with your changing business and personal life. And then whenever you get to the maturity phase, you're basically on cruise control. Your business is successful. It's probably making good money. And then you can kind of afford the icing on the cake and provide more benefits to the employees that helped you grow your business. So at this point, you're making sure that your succession plan reflects how you want your business to function once you move on. And then you can reward yourself by making sure that your personal financial needs are on track for today and the future. And then in the transfer phase, you're ready to move on. The transition plans that you've made up until now, they can be realized at this point. You might be getting ready for your kids to take over the business, or maybe you're working with someone to buy you out. And at this point, you've got some hard choices to make as you implement your plans. Financially, making sure that the value of the business is reflected in your exit plan. And then there's a softer side, a more emotional side, when you're pulling yourself away from a business that you've built. Sometimes it's probably the most difficult part of all. So through all of these phases, it's important to have people around you that you can trust, accountants, attorneys, bankers, and more to help you plan and make the decisions that basically put your business on the track for success. A good business advisor works with you to understand both your business and your personal goals and understand that everyone is unique. Your business isn't exactly like anyone else's, and neither is your personal financial situation or your personal home situation either. So there's no one product or approach that can solve all your needs. So you and your team of advisors should work together to create a personalized solution for financial security. Now, here at Northwestern Mutual, we've been helping families and businesses with their financial security for over 160 years. We have a network of specialists who can work together with you and your other advisors, whether it's your CPA, attorney, banker, or anyone else. We collaborate with you and your team to reach your financial goals. So we've covered a lot today. So let's quickly review the topics we've covered. We worked through identifying and prioritizing your goals and concerns, the four asset classes of your business, the key financial areas of your business, the stages of business development, and then why it's a good idea to have a trusted business advisor. I want to thank everybody here again for being here today. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I hope that this talk has kind of given you some things to think about as you move your business forward. And with the right planning, you can start kind of turning those worried thoughts into something, more like this, feeling secure, being confident. I don't know anybody, I don't know everybody's situation here, or if you've ever had a plan done. For me personally, it was truly life-changing. Oh, my light, sorry. But I didn't actually appreciate the impact that it made on my life until my granddaughter was born. And I was a true empty nester thinking more about retirement and legacy and my exit of my business. So hopefully today's chat kind of helped with that. Thank you all again. This is my personal information. Feel free to send me an email or call me if you want to have a deeper conversation. If anybody is wondering or wants information about succession planning or any other of the topics that I went over today, feel free to reach out and I can send you a PDF.
Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, team. Would you, it's a few questions in the Q&A, Marcel. You ready to answer?
Sure.
Awesome. All right, first question. If I have an online business, I'm curious about the tax implications if my business is started in the US, but I moved to Australia.
Okay, I do know because I did a little bit of international trade in the past. I do know that if you move to another country, you still have to pay taxes in the US. Not sure what it would look like in Australia. I do know that some people are moving to, I heard Puerto Rico has a pretty low tax environment. But I'm happy to do a little more research for you and chat offline, but hopefully I was able to give a little bit of info.
Awesome, thank you. Next question. What business type of business entity should I set up for an online photography business? And they said they are happy to discuss it one-on-one with you on another day if you can't answer it in this platform.
Yeah, let's chat offline. That's a little loaded and I would have to kind of do a little more digging, but I'm happy to connect offline.
Awesome, thank you. Hello, I am in the early start up stage of my business in a sole proprietorship. I'm not quite ready to consider employees or the exit stage. What guidance can you offer business of this type?
I I would say get at product market fit as sooner than later. Um, there are some strategies I would gladly share about. I would say build, measure, learn, and test it out. There's a really good book called The Lean Startup. And also the E-Myth is good for when you are ready to hire.
Thank you. And it looks like that's all the questions that we have. Somebody did put in here, Marcel, thank you for the informative webinar today. Um, one question just came back in. How do you recommend developing a business violation? Valuation. Sorry.
Oh, business valuation. We can do them, actually, Northwestern Mutual, we can do them here. I do have a questionnaire that I would have to have you fill out. We can get on a chat and kind of start that conversation going. Oh, by the way, and I think we have like another minute. I'll kind of give you all like a rundown. Um, I'll kind of share like the areas that we help people in and the process that we use. Um, so I help people at all stages, whether they're just starting out all the way to succession planning. My youngest client is a teenager and my oldest one is in their 70s. So it's not, there's no one that I won't talk to. So what we do is we do help with the risk management, basically protecting yourself, your loved ones, the assets that you've been working so hard to accumulate over time. Even if you're at the startup phase, it's worth having a plan done. I don't charge fees for plans. I can either help you or I can't. I just appreciated having one done for me. And this is kind of my give back to business owners, family people, mothers, grandparents. So I'm happy to connect with anyone that wants to kind of do a deeper dive. Basically, I put out all the information to a fancy system. It shows me how you're tracking for retirement, any gaps that need to be filled either on a savings or in insurance or investments. And then we can kind of just go from there. But feel free to email me, and what I'll do is if you email me, I'll send you my scheduler link, and then you can schedule yourself a meeting. Actually, let me put it. I can probably put one here in the chat.
You probably can put it in the chat. It's
Here.
another question when you've read it. Just let me know.
Okay. Here, I just put my scheduler link in the chat for anyone that wants to just click on it and schedule some time with me.
Somebody wanted to know, can you please repeat the names of the 2 books you recommended for the business startup phase?
Yeah, so anybody starting out, The Lean Startup is a really good book. There's another book that I did not mention yet, but it's called Traction, because traction is basically what you need to grow your business and make more sales. And then right before you start to hire, there's a really good book called The E-Myth. And that basically, if you're a business owner and you're wearing a lot of hats and you're doing a lot of things, that is a really, really great book to finally become more of a CEO versus owning a job. Because in our business, in the beginnings, we do everything. There's a lot of moving parts, early mornings, late nights, you've got employees, or if you don't have employees yet, you've got your customers, your vendors, bills, compliance, government, everyone is coming at you, and it gets very overwhelming really quickly. So the E-Myth is a really good book to kind of help unload some of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, that's all the questions I see for now.
Awesome.
Well,
And then,
look, the last one. Somebody
oh,
asked, could you please type the name of the books in the chat? I think
oh,
somebody might have
yes.
typed them in there already.
E-Myth. And then there's Lean Startup, and then there's Traction. So there's 3 books.
Got it.
And if anyone here, this one last resource, if anyone here has like a high-tech company that does anything defense related, there is a free program for those businesses, and they're only taking 100 applicants, and it's a class, and so it's called Sigma Blocks, and I just put the application in there.
Thank you.
You're
Is
welcome.
there, all right, last one this time is popping up. It says, is there a method for estimating the probability of a business success?
Estimating the probability of business success.
Yeah, is there a method for estimating the probability of a business success?
Yeah, so you want to look at your KPIs, like, okay, how much does it cost to acquire my customer? What is their lifetime value, the lifetime customer value? So whenever you get a customer, how long do they tend to stay your customer, and how much are they spending over their lifetime? There's like a whole formula for it. And also, if you're doing any kind of ads, you want to like take an account for, okay, how much are you spending in your ads, and then how many clicks are you getting, how many are converting, how many people are visiting your website to actually purchasing. There's a few different ways to calculate.
So thank you, Marcel, and thank everybody for attending today. We really appreciate your time in this great webinar. Please feel free to complete the survey at the end of this webinar. We really value your feedback. Let us know how we did today. Everybody who was in attendance today will receive a copy of this presentation tomorrow, and the recording will be available via YouTube channel within 72 hours. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to send me an email, give me a call, and I look forward to next time. So thank you. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, team. I hope everybody have a wonderful day.